This is one of the most popular locations in Los Angeles, right here. Hundreds of movies. Gangster Squad's last shootout scene was here. Into the Wild was shot here. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Ocean's 11.
My favorite movie shot in LA is Boogie Nights.
Geez, I wouldn't know. I mean, there have been so many of them.
Heat by Michael Mann.
I love Chinatown.
I'd have to say Sunset Boulevard.
Shortcuts. Both of the Terminator movies are great LA movies.
Double Indemnity.
LA Confidential.
I would have to say Singing in the Rain. That's the movie.
Maybe Chinatown.
It's one of the few movies when they mention an address in it, it's a real address and it's a real place.
Bienvenue à Los Angeles. 330 jours de soleil par an, ses plages, ses collines, son quartier d'affaires et le désert à quelques kilomètres, un décor de cinéma à ciel ouvert. La majorité des films américains du XXe siècle ont été tournés ici. Ils font de LA, deuxième ville des États-Unis, la véritable patrie des cinéphiles du monde entier. Nous partons à la découverte de la Cité des Anges et du cinéma. Nous prenons la route avec Caleb Dufy. Il est spécialisé dans la recherche de lieux pour les tournages, un métier particulièrement prisé à Los Angeles.
We're in downtown LA right now. Today I'm looking for structure that people would be quarantined because they have a disease breakout. So for the short film Quarantine for Planet of the Apes, we are entering into a place called Lower Grand, and we're on Grand Avenue down below, and up above us is another Grand Avenue. This is a place that a lot of companies will come for control because of the depth of field, and you feel like you're in a tunnel, and it's a good place to do a lot of, you can get very aggressive down here with high-speed car chases, explosions, and full control for safety. So it's pretty good. Even though I've been there before, I'll shoot it specifically for that story, and I'll shoot it for what they're asking for. Behind me is a construction zone, and for the scene, it'll be a lot of military, and in this area by the green fence, it'll be an area that people go check in that have this disease. There are a couple of buildings that were considered, but this one works best just because we can control it. You can have people running around with weapons and in uniform, and it's safe, and it looks really cool, like gray and dark and, industrial.
Pour les pionniers du cinéma, Los Angeles a tout d'un Eldorado. Matt Sennett, Griffiths et quelques autres y posent leurs valises dès les années 1910. Fini les tournages interrompus par la pluie et l'hiver, à LA, ils peuvent enfin crier moteur toute l'année.
The other thing that was attractive was, in terms of geography, was just being away from the East Coast and away from the Edison Trust and the kinds of people at the time who didn't want them to make movies. It was just a really very amateurish catch as catch can. Someone would say, I've hired a horse for the day, let's make a movie, or I have a clipboard, I'll be the director. But by the 1920s, movies were becoming more popular, they meant more money, and so the studio system evolved to turn out movies on a kind of industrial basis.
Le cinéma laisse rapidement son empreinte dans la ville.
There's been a long argument over the years that which comes first, the eclectic house building of Los Angeles or the movie sets. And I certainly think they interact with each other. One influences the other. People come out to play, in a sense, architecturally, to build what they want, and they take some of their inspiration from what they see in the movies. you could decide what you wanted to do. If you wanted to look like a rich East Coast person, you build a certain kind of house. If you wanted to look like a Californian, connected to the Mexican heritage, you build another kind of house. If you wanted to be English, you build an English Tudor house or a French Renaissance house even. It was just, anybody could do whatever they wanted.
Les studios voient de plus en plus grands. Autour des plateaux, ils bâtissent de véritables villes reliées entre elles par des avenues sans fin. Ces perspectives de macadam deviennent le signe distinctif de Los Angeles. Dans le film Annie Hall, Woody Allen dira même que le seul avantage culturel de la ville, c'est de pouvoir tourner à droite au feu rouge.
Well, you know what Gertrude Stein said about Los Angeles? She said, there's no there, because there's no center. You know, it's just a sprawling suburbs, and that's sort of the way the town is. It has no center. It has no core.
Well, I'm not originally from here. I'm from the East Coast, and I grew up in Washington, D.C., and it's much more, it's smaller and more contained and organized, and out here it's this sprawling expanse of a city. There's days when the smog is terrible, and you're just driving for miles. You know, I spend so much time in my car, and you're driving, and it looks awful. And then you'll turn onto a street, and it's just like glorious and beautiful, or you'll suddenly see the beach or the ocean off in the distance.
I was born in Los Angeles, so to me, it's all I've known, but I think what makes it unique is it's a real industry town. It really is. You know, like you go to Virginia and there's coal miners. So you come here and it's the movie industry, it's the television industry. Even though it's so vast and spread out, it feels like a small town to me, oddly enough.
When people come out to Los Angeles and say, why are there so many pretty people on the streets of Los Angeles? And part of it is that the prettiest people from every small town in America started coming to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, in the 1920s to make it in the movie business. And most of them didn't. But they stayed here, they built lives, they had pretty children, you know, and it created an atmosphere.
People from all over the world wake up and they say, I'm going to Hollywood, I'm going to Los Angeles. That's where I'm going to find myself. That's where I'm going to be famous. That's where I'm going to do my first movie. There's so much talent here. I mean, the pool of artists, craftspeople, directors, actors, composers, costume designers. It's just deep, deep, deep. There's so many people that live here and that call LA home.
I do believe what Tony Bill once said, you can throw a great, not a good, a great screenplay on the Hollywood freeway and it will get made.
Nous ralentissons un peu le temps de rencontrer Jeff Dodd, un des rares habitants de LA qui se déplace en vélo. À Santa Monica, celui que tout le monde appelle le Dude est une légende vivante. En 1998, ses amis Joel et Ethan Cohen réalisent The Big Lebowski, une comédie dont le personnage principal est joué par Jeff Bridges, mais ressemble à s'y méprendre à Jeff Dodd.
Good dog. You want some good dog shit? I'm an easy target. Virtually every actor who's ever met me does an impression on me, okay? Just because you haven't seen it yet, I'm sitting here, but you haven't seen me eat yet. You haven't seen me do all kinds of dance yet. You haven't seen all kinds of get silly or weird or mad or whatever. It's an odd feeling, you know, because it's not like they're doing a biography on you and you're at all. They're just taking a part of your character and putting it in another story, okay? Which authors do all the time in novels. I mean, I have friends that know me that walked into that movie, friends from Seattle or Ithaca or New York, no idea what was going on with the movie. They just went to the movie. They know me from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They'd see the movie, they go, fuck, it's the dude. You know, they would, can I swear on this? Like the 157 fucks in the movie. I guess they say that 157 times. But so friends would see me not even knowing the movie had anything to do with me, and go, oh, that's through the physical. I mean, this is, you know, that's a kind of me thing. You see him doing the movie, okay, you know, and just all kinds of stuff. For me, it opens a thing of friendship. It's you know, great with women too, obviously, but it also is good in business. So I'll have the head of a studio saying, will you leave a message on my daughter's phone or my son's phone? They're not interested, frankly, in Harrison Ford. They want to know that their daddy talks to the dude, okay? You know, like, wow, you know? Why do you take alcohol? Why do you take coffee? Why do you take water? Why do you take pills? Why do you take marijuana? Why do you take cocaine? 70% of the people take some kind of mood depressant, doctor-prescribed pill. Why? To feel better. Well, what if you can watch The Big Lebowski for 15 minutes and you know you're gonna feel better? That's why everybody watches it.
Rome et Paris ont leurs églises, Los Angeles, c'est cinéma. À Downtown, les palais déchus sont peu à peu réhabilités, transformés en hôtels de luxe ou en magasins branchés. Pour rencontrer des amoureux du 7e art, pas besoin de descendre de voiture. Depuis 2 ans, tous les samedis, ce parking abandonné se transforme en drive-in, un des derniers ciné-parcs des États-Unis.
They were really popular and thrived in the 1960s and 70s. People were buying cars and people just loved the luxury of owning a vehicle. I think at the time, movie cinemas and movie plexes weren't as nice as they are now, and the drive-ins started to close when the bigger movie plexes that had 15 or 20 screens showing all kinds of films and serving different kinds of food became a lot more popular. We thought the idea was really cool, and we knew that being in Los Angeles, a city that is known for film and cinema and has a true love for the art of film, that people would really appreciate having a different sort of unique opportunity to view cinema. Angelinos know a lot about film, regardless of whether they're in the industry or not. It's around us, and so we're surrounded by it. We hear about it. If I'm a dentist, then my next door neighbor is an actor, or you always know someone who's involved in the industry, and so you are kind of tuned into it, whether you can help it or not.
Except that I love him unendurable.
Depuis les hauteurs du mont Lee, en plein centre géographique de la ville, 9 lettres dominent Los Angeles. Impossible d'accéder aux signes mythiques par la route, il faut emprunter un chemin dangereux, interdit au public.
The letters themselves measure about 35 to 38 feet wide, depending on the letter, but the height from the ground up is 45 feet. The Hollywood sign can be seen from as far away as Culver City, but it's pretty much can be seen from anywhere in the LA basin. 1923 is when the sign was originally built. It was created by Harry Chandler, who was the publisher of the Los Angeles Times newspaper.
The Hollywood sign began as a real estate advertisement. It said Hollywood Land. It was there to persuade people to build houses in the hills.
À l'avènement du cinéma parlant, plus de 80% des films américains sont produits et réalisés à Los Angeles. Le quartier d'Hollywood est celui qui concentre le plus grand nombre de studios. Leurs décors monumentaux et les frasques de leurs stars fascinent le monde. Le nom Hollywood devient un raccourci, un synonyme du cinéma américain, avec ce qu'il implique de glamour et de succès facile.
In the 30s, there was a actress, wasn't a big actress, her name was Peggy Eswissel. And she came to Hollywood looking for fame and fortune, and it didn't turn out as she had liked. And the story goes, she climbed up on one of the letters and jumped to her death. And as the story goes, some short time after that, she got a job offer. But it was a sad thing because she had passed away. During the 70s and up until that point, the sign did fall into disrepair. Some of the letters had fallen down, I think the H had fallen down. It was built with wood and with wire. It wasn't built to last.
To a great extent, people here lived without history because they wanted to forget their history. They wanted to come out and start a new life. By the 1970s, people started thinking about their history and their landmarks and their, the places that they admired. It was not till the 1970s that the Los Angeles Conservancy started, and people wanted to preserve things, like the Hollywood sign. They wanted to preserve it. They wanted it redone. They wanted it made permanent in that way.
The sign today is made of metal, and it's supported with concrete supports that you see here today. But that was due to the efforts of celebrities like Alice Cooper and Gene Autry, who put money up to help redo the sign. In 1978, it cost about $250,000 to rebuild. And if you look today at the sign, we just got it insured for $1.6 million. It's secure as we can make it. There's approximately about 100 cameras that view the Hollywood sign 24/7.
You're trespassing! You in the black and the blue sweatshirt, turn back or the LAPD will meet you at the sign.
Hollywood itself does not understand Hollywood as a magic place particularly. I mean, the people who work in Hollywood, it's the business. They always call it the business in that way. But for movie lovers in the rest of the world, it has that kind of magical quality. For people who love movies, they have their home city and they have Los Angeles. It's like everybody has two cities in their heads, in their imaginations.
Nous retrouvons Caleb Dufy, direction un des bâtiments les plus populaires pour les tournages à Los Angeles.
We're at the corner of 3rd and Broadway, and it's where the Bradbury building is. It was in the Artist. So we're going to walk across the street and go check it out. This place is great. This is my favorite building in all of LA. Now it's internal affairs for LAPD. I think they only allow filming now on weekends, so you can only do Saturdays. We shot, the top floors are all the main offices, and then we were on this stairway over the camera's left shoulder, where Berenice and Jean passed by. And that whole sequence of, storytelling through the imagery of the characters on the rise and on the descent. I thought that was really cool. Are we be okay to go there? Yeah. Cool. Want to go up? Just we can go up one level and take a look down.
Le Bradbury est un des trésors de LA. Construit en 1893 par Lewis Bradbury, un homme d'affaires ayant fait fortune dans le charbon. Avec son architecture victorienne, c'est le plus ancien monument de la ville.
I would consider this for a period film set in the 17th or 18th century. Yeah, and there are reasons. First of all, the building itself, I think, is big and dramatic to fit that type of period for architecture. Secondly, they're working with a weights and balance system in their lifts, which was indicative most likely of the technology that existed back then, so that you wouldn't really have to change that out. The only things that you'd have to probably change through visual effects or art department are the fixtures and lights and covering up all of the modern electrical, you know. The dark iron really works well. The roof can be put in with visual effects for anything you want outside. The layers and depth that I think provide visually can be really beneficial to a post-apocalyptic type of a scenario. You know, this is a building stuck in time, but everything is kind of continued forward. So I think that this is a really good building for something like that.
Il suffit de reprendre la route pour constater que le Bradbury est une exception à Los Angeles. Les projets immobiliers consécutifs et contradictoires ont changé le visage de cette ville sans passé. Peu de monuments ont traversé le temps.
You can still find places that have some of the aura of old Hollywood glamour, or at least the aura of how you saw them in a movie, and so when you look at them in reality, they have a little glow around them.
Le City Hall est toujours là, même s'il est régulièrement anéanti dans les films catastrophes. L'Observatoire Griffith est la demeure éternelle de James Dean depuis le tournage de La Fureur de vivre. Sur Hollywood Boulevard, le restaurant Musso & Frank est plus discret, même si lui aussi a vu défiler les stars.
Everybody likes the way we make our martinis. The place is open 1919, and we have the producers, directors, movie stars, politicians. There's so many people that it's sometimes kind of hard to remember all the names. Well, especially Charlie Chaplin. He used to be here almost every lunch. And we have one table. He always used to sit in that table.
Impossible de ne pas le voir en remontant Sunset Boulevard, le Château Marmont est la forteresse de Los Angeles. Une copie grossière du château d'Amboise qui sert de refuge à l'aristocratie hollywoodienne. L'acteur et le producteur Griffin Dunne nous attend dans sa suite préférée.
It's a great old, infamous, steady hotel of LA. I grew up in Los Angeles. And my parents were very much in the film business. And well, actually, my father was a television producer, but all of his friends were film people. They were, you know, the great directors and producers and actors of the time. We were a sort of a hotel family, and we would come here and have these great lunches with, you know, all sorts of interesting artists. And Roman Polanski lived down the hall, and Sharon Tate, and the Sunset Strip riots were going on at that time, so we would like watch them from the balcony and throw firecrackers off the ledge, and call the cops the pigs and all that stuff. The outside changes, what the billboards are and the stores and all of that, but the hotel is virtually the same since 1929. The walls are so thick, which is why I think so many salacious things go on here, and suicides and murders and lots of sex, because the walls are so thick. And the reason they're so thick is because it's earthquake proof. It's the first building in Los Angeles when they built it in 1929 that was earthquake resistant. The hotel was built not as a hotel but as an apartment building. And then the crash of 1929 happened. They decided to make it a hotel. It also was the same year that sound came into motion pictures. So the studio, they realized they needed playwrights, and the playwrights all lived in New York, and they had to ship them out, and this place was cheap. It became pretty much, from shortly after it opened, a place where writers would stay for a price. And that has just continued all along. It was a long-term residency. You'd come out here when you had a picture to do and it had a kitchen, and you would just stay here. It was like having a home away from home.
Aujourd'hui, le Marmont est un hôtel de luxe. Les légendes continuent de circuler à son sujet et les artistes viennent toujours s'y inspirer ou s'y montrer au restaurant du rez-de-chaussée.
John Belushi died in the Chateau Marmont, all these things that happened. It's the watering hole of a later generation, in the same way that Musso and Frank's was, from an early generation.
This is a part of an era that's no longer, but you can still see it around. You still see pieces of it, getting a sense of what Hollywood was like and what it was like to be incredibly famous and then lose it all, and then somebody else will come along and learn absolutely nothing from the previous generation and make exactly the same mistakes and come to a tragic end until the next person comes along.
Ici, la gloire va et vient, mais elle laisse ses empreintes toujours sur le même trottoir. Nous voici sur le Walk of Fame, la fameuse promenade des célébrités.
Stanley Kramer was the first star on the Walk of Fame. It's someone that I wouldn't know who he was. And unfortunately, when you look at the stars on the Walk of Fame today, there's probably a lot of names that people don't recognize because they're people from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s that have now since long passed away.
Seule une vingtaine de célébrités inaugurent leur étoile chaque année sur Hollywood Boulevard. Pour y avoir droit, elles doivent briller assez fort aux yeux du comité de sélection, des entrepreneurs locaux qui bénéficient du rayonnement touristique d'Hollywood.
There is a criteria for getting a star on the Walk of Fame. There are 5 categories for the Walk of Fame: motion pictures, television, radio, recording, and live theater. And there are people, even with what they consider a book of work, that have made applications and have been turned down for stars on the Walk of Fame. Kim Kardashian was one that recently was promoted for a star on the Walk of Fame and had been turned down by the committee.
Pour s'offrir une étoile, il faut surtout payer 30 000 $. La récompense dont tout le monde rêve à LA ne s'achète pas. Elle est décernée par l'institution la plus respectée de la ville, l'Académie des Oscars. Elle siège ici, à Beverly Hills, dans cette réplique de la cathédrale de Séville.
The Academy was founded in 1927, largely by prominent people in the industry, people like Douglas Fairbanks and Louis B. Mayer and Mary Pickford. They were proud of the work they did and they wanted to improve it. They knew it was a business, but they felt it was more than just a business. And so that is why they gave out awards of merit to recognize excellence.
La première cérémonie a lieu en 1929 au luxueux Biltmore Hotel.
It was announced months ahead of time as far as who was to receive it, and it was just a private affair. The next year, it would be broadcast on radio, and from then on, it was broadcast either on radio and starting in 1953 on television. And obviously, the more you proceed, the more significant it became. This is what we have now as the contemporary Oscar. See, I believe it's 8.5 pounds, and it's 13 inches tall. They're heavy. When those people receive it and they do that, they're not faking, it's heavy.
It would be nice to say it's such a pure process and all that matters is they watch the movie and that's it, but that's not the way it works, and it probably costs anywhere up to $50 million it can cost, if you're a very big campaign, very big studio.
It's interesting, in Los Angeles there's a whole season. I mean, other cities have seasons like fall and winter, and here we have awards season. Filmmakers measure their careers in terms of awards to a certain extent. It's a big part of Los Angeles.
It goes for 6 months. It is a really long season. You'll see stars, actors going and doing Q&As practically every night of the week if they feel they have a chance. You'll see advertising, you'll see billboards all over town. They go to homes, private homes. They have private screenings. They shake hands. It's like they're running for mayor of Los Angeles, not for winning an Academy Award. But award season is very important for the life of a film. It really can make a difference financially in a movie, not just here, but around the world.
Une fois l'exploitation terminée, les films atterrissent dans l'autre bâtiment de l'Académie des Oscars. Changement d'ambiance, ici il fait 15 degrés toute l'année.
There are about 86,000 titles in the Academy Film Archive collection, and that represents about 166,000 different items. Our collection starts at the beginning of cinema and goes right up to last year's Academy Award nominees. We can't fault the first generation of filmmakers for not preserving their work because nitrate film was flammable. When it starts burning, it generates its own oxygen and there's no way to put it out. It will just burn until it has burned itself out. Everyone wanted to get this dangerous combustible stuff away, and so that's why we lost so much of the first years of filmmaking.
L'Académie restaure les films menacés de disparition et en priorité les œuvres nominées aux Oscars. Mais les véritables trésors de la collection n'ont jamais été projetés au cinéma.
We have an extensive collection of home movies of past Academy members, like directors like Alfred Hitchcock, William Wyler, Fred Zinnemann, George Stevens. And their home movies are just like all of the other family home movies we have here. They're backyard barbecues and birthday parties, but oftentimes the filmmakers would take their home movie cameras on set or on location. So they have behind the scenes footage of movies being made at a time in history when there were very few behind the scenes featurettes being made. Because LA has changed so quickly, sometimes people's home movies are the only records, moving images of neighborhoods that either have completely changed or are completely gone. Through those home movies, we're remembering what Los Angeles as a city looked like and felt like. And there's not really any better way to do that, to get that feeling, than from watching a movie. I mean, you can kind of get a sense of it from a still image, but when you actually see people moving around and interacting with each other, and how they dress, and how they carry themselves, and how they act around each other, it's as authentic as you can get. It's as close to time travel, I think, as you can get.
Pour remonter le temps, nous avons rendez-vous avec un témoin vivant de l'histoire du cinéma, le plus vieux projectionniste du monde. Charles Heidikoff a le même âge qu'Hollywood. Il est né en 1916, bien avant le cinéma parlant.
My father was a projectionist, and he used to take me to the theater all the time on Saturdays. One day, my father said, "Charles, let me show you what the equipment looks like." He broke me in. I became a projectionist when I was 9. When I got into my own business, at my first screening room, I used to be running 3-4 a day. And when you think about it, over the years of 90 years, it came to somewhere about 45,000 films that I've seen. And if you want to know what I am thinking of as the best film of all times, that's another question I'm asked. The best one, number 1, is Citizen Kane. Number 2, Casablanca. Number 3, Gone with the Wind. Number 4, Godfathers. I could go down the list.
Les plus grands noms d'Hollywood sont passés par la salle de projection de Charles Heidikoff. Il a vu avant les autres les versions ratées et les futurs blockbusters. Il est le confident, celui qui murmure aux oreilles des patrons des studios.
I know what's going to win most of the time. In fact, 2 years in a row now. A year ago and the year before, Weinstein Company came out with a picture called The King's Speech. I said, this is going to win. This was a long time before all the pictures came out. I said, this is a winner. Sure enough, it won. The following week, there was another one that Weinstein had, which I thought was great. It was called The Artist. Silent film, right? Remember? I said, that's going to win. Also Weinstein. In fact, Harvey usually calls me and says, who's going to win next year?
Charles a transmis la salle familiale à son fils, puis à son petit-fils. Après des années à manipuler des bobines, il est passé sans regret à l'ère numérique.
This used to have all 35mm equipment. It's not here anymore. because we're only showing DCPs. How does it work? Yeah, you push a button and it plays. See that can there? It used to come in that. That only had 3 reels in it. You had 2 of them for a whole film. They're heavy, together, almost 50 pounds. New people come in, new directors, new producers, new cameramen. I meet them all, they come in. But when they come in, I have absolutely no idea how good they're going to be until I watch a couple of their films. Hollywood needs younger talent. The old timers are going to pass away. In fact, I tell everybody, I don't have any more enemies. They're all dead.
Pour Caleb Dufy, le régisseur d'extérieur, la journée n'est pas terminée.
We are in the arts district. A lot of lofts and galleries and coffee shops and warehouses. This is a very frequently used area for filming because it looks awesome.
Les endroits cachés de Los Angeles se découvrent à pied. Nous quittons la voiture et suivons Caleb.
I like this spot.
La rivière de LA a servi de décor à des films aussi différents que Chinatown, Grease ou Terminator.
The scope. You look at how big it is. You can't recreate this in a studio because all of the depth of field and how big this is. You know you're in an urban environment. You've got a lot going on. You can hear the cars above you. You can see the train. You see the water. You can't recreate this. There's no way. When I scout for films about LA, I get a feeling about the connection I have to it and what it means to me as a resident as well, because it's my opportunity to show what we have.
Un vent d'inquiétude souffle sur la ville. En 2013, les films à gros budget tournés en Californie sont 8 fois moins nombreux qu'il y a 15 ans. La Louisiane, le Canada et le Royaume-Uni ont détrôné Los Angeles.
What is life worth living for if we don't have the movies, you know? The earthquake, you know, that'll just wipe us all out, but that's okay if we don't have the movies. I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with the movie industry going away.
It's what put Los Angeles on the map is the film business, and everything is shooting somewhere else. I don't know when the last time I shot a movie that was entirely set in Los Angeles.
I would say the city let business go elsewhere out of greed. The prices that they charged were just too high. It's like any other business, you know, and it has its ups and its downs. And if you've been around Los Angeles, all the major studios, physically they're still here. But their business, their core business has expanded, and now they're doing television, their news, you know, networks, they're all sorts of things. And now it's these multinational companies that took over Hollywood, and they're in several different businesses, whatever sells.
Cinema in Los Angeles is no longer based in Hollywood. It's in Silver Lake, it's in Santa Monica, it's all over the city.
Une nouvelle vague de cinéma indépendant déferle sur la Cité des Anges. Des films financés en dehors des studios et qui ont leur festival et leurs récompenses.
This is the Spirit Award. It's a bird. You know, it's the soaring spirit of film. But coming up here these are shoestrings. Because we have an expression in English, I don't know if you have it in French, but independent films are made on a shoestring budget, which means spare change. So that's it. films made on a shoestring.
Les Spirit Awards sont créés en 1986 pour promouvoir le cinéma d'auteur à petit budget. À l'époque, c'est un moyen pour des jeunes nommés Steven Soderbergh, Darren Aronofsky, Christopher Nolan ou Sofia Coppola de se faire repérer puis distribuer par les studios.
I mean, the old model was you would make your feature, you would go to Sundance, and you would sell it to Fox Searchlight, and they would take it out, and you would launch your career. That happens every once in a while now. The studios make fewer and fewer films now.
I think it's harder to make a movie now in certain ways. I think it's far easier to make a movie now. I think most independent filmmakers, they do not wait for permission anymore.
Los Angeles is filled with filmmakers who are doing independent features, they're doing independent television, they're doing stuff for the web. Everyone is independent with a handful of, the films that are being made at the studio. So I find it's a really exciting time. I feel for this organization, we've never had more members, people joining, people who are making films.
Et si le vide laissé par les studios hollywoodiens permettait un renouvellement créatif à Los Angeles? C'est la stratégie du nouveau maire, Eric Garcetti. Avec 1 emploi sur 8 dans le secteur artistique, il veut faire de LA la capitale de la créativité, mais pas seulement du cinéma.
Digital filmmaking affords many, many more people the opportunity to go out and tell their story. But that does not mean that film should be on a big screen.
At Film Independent, we used to be focused on the feature-length film. We supported filmmakers telling, the 90-minute, the hour-and-a-half long movie. Now, I would say we still do that, but our focus is on supporting creative independence in visual storytelling. And we are agnostic about the platform. It can be for the web, it can be for television, it can be for the feature. So for me, I don't care if it's a 90-minute feature in a theater. It's about the artistic quality of the work and the types of stories that are being told.
Nous dépassons les studios de cinéma pour aller à la rencontre de ceux qui font vraiment parler d'eux en ce moment à Los Angeles. Des auteurs de séries télé qui ont monté leur propre émission de radio sur Internet.
Hey, welcome to Hollywood Handbook, an insider's guide to kicking butt and dropping names in the rouge carpet-lined back hallways of this industry we call showbiz.
Au micro, Sean Clemens et Ace Davenport, tous les deux originaires de la côte est des États-Unis, s'amusent des personnages hauts en couleur qu'ils côtoient à Los Angeles. De leur quotidien si spécial, ils ont tiré un podcast humoristique, sorte de manuel de survie à Hollywood.
The characters we play are sort of a combination of different people that we know.
The source of the podcast is I am constantly amazed by the lack of self-awareness some people will have in talking about their jobs or the industry.
Some people come out here with dreams that are almost unachievable, basically to be the most famous person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the difficulty of achieving that dream, I think, can be very frustrating and mind distorting for a lot of people, so they need to be sort of building themselves up all the time in their heads and then in conversation with everyone they meet. I think Twitter and having accessibility to a lot of celebrities gives a lot of people the illusion that these celebrities are their friends and people they know. And podcasts can do that.
I would
too.
also say that celebrity culture and the amount of access that people have now and the behind the scenes kind of things makes everyone seem more real, whereas there used to be this sheen on celebrity where you only saw like glimpses into what their life was and they were almost like royalty. Mm-hmm. Now it's so accessible that it seems more achievable.
Hollywood used to keep their, they used to protect their stars. They would like, if they had something that they were hiding, either their, sexual preference or, their divorces or whatever their private life was, it was in the studio's interest to keep that unknown. Now it's sort of, nobody's looking after them. It's like, some poor kid will become a star when they're 16, 17 and be over when they're 18 and they've out-tweeted, out-snorted and, been thrown out of every club in town and that's the end of them.
Now, if someone wanted to make us movie stars,
if somebody sees this, they've got the power to make us a movie star.
And they think there's a good energy there.
You're interviewing other directors for this. Maybe
Sure.
they're watching it. I don't know. Tarantino's like, oh, they could be good.
Okay. Corpse, fucker, shit lord. Bye.
Bye.
Le parfum mystérieux de l'âge d'or semble avoir déserté les avenues de LA. S'il vivait ici aujourd'hui, John Wayne diffuserait sans doute ses westerns sur Internet et Marilyn étalerait ses diamants sur les réseaux sociaux.
The glamour of Hollywood, in a sense, never really had a strong foundation to begin with. It was glamour. It was in the air, you know. It was imagination. It was aspiration there. And the idea of Hollywood itself didn't quite correspond very well to the reality of Hollywood. So it still doesn't.
It's the brand name. It's a glorious image that we have that we want to keep. We lose so much in tradition. We lose so much that Los Angeles really has that. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. It may be in our minds, and that may be the only place it is eventually, but it's always going to be there. It's ingrained. This is where it was born. This is where the movie industry really got going and really was born, and I don't think you're going to change that. You're not going to change that image.
It's true, time goes by and you don't notice it in LA. You know, Orson Welles had a great line about LA. He said, you know, the terrible thing about LA is you sit down when you're 25, and when you stand up, you're 62.
Notre road movie se termine dans un lieu insolite. Nous sommes au cœur d'Hollywood, à l'endroit où se tournaient les premiers westerns de la Paramount. Aujourd'hui, Cecil B2000, Rudolph Valentino et John Huston s'y reposent pour l'éternité. Et le gazon dédié à Douglas Fairbanks accueille tous les week-ends des séances en plein air. À Los Angeles, le cinéma est partout, même au cimetière.
A lot of people, when they first heard about showing movies in a cemetery, thought it sounded very strange. This is the history of Hollywood around us. These are the great directors, the great actors, and the little people of Hollywood who put these movies together. So it's great fun to watch the films themselves with the final resting places of the people who made them. And everybody got into the spirit of it, and it's been very popular for 13 years, and we sell out just about every show, so people really love it. I think so many people move here to be part of the movies or grow up having the movies being made around them. And whether or not they're actually in the industry, I think in this town there's a lot of people who really, really love the films, love movies. And I think here it's a way of life for us to see movies, to make movies, to be a part of movies. The people who come to the films are every sort of person. You have an aspiring writer next to a household known starlet. You have a famous producer next to someone who served him a coffee the morning before. And we're all here together on the same field, doing what we love, is watching movies. And it's really a great feeling when a bunch of people who love cinema get together and watch great films and don't really care, you know, about who's who, and just get to do this thing together.
Los Angeles est sans doute la seule ville au monde où 18 millions d'habitants partagent tous ou presque la même religion, celle du cinéma.
LA in 3 words. There's so many words to describe. I mean, look at LA.
Los Angeles is a cinematic bouillabaisse.
I love Hollywood. 3 words.
A beautiful mess.
Because everything is in there. The good, the great, and the toxic.
Sunny, noir, dream.
Well, one would be restless. Another would be beautiful. And what would the third be? Hidden.
Get a car.
Inspiring, sexy, and hard work.
I guess I'd just steal from Orson Welles and say it's a bright, guilty place. Thank you.